the trump card of the 10 Shadows technique, and a shikigami so powerful, not a single 10 Shadows user throughout all of the Zenin clan's history has been able to tame it. 8-handled sword divergent Sila Divine General Mahoraga is the strongest familiar that can be summoned by Fushiguro Megami's curse technique, and is a being that had amassed so much potential some people would even consider it a completely separate character from the 10 Shadows entirely. In this video, I'd like to take a deep look into Mahoraga and examine this absolute smoke demon's greatest accomplishments, as well as what a full potential Divine General might look like when fully paired up with their user. We'll also dissect some of the hidden lore behind Mahoraga not well known, so if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and most importantly, thank you for watching. An uncontrollable force of nature that is well known throughout Jujutsu society as the Zenin clan's ace in the hole. Although never once defeated and brought under a user's manipulation, it's theorized the Zenin clan heads have used the monster for centuries as a last resort tactic, guaranteed to eliminate both any opponents and the summoner themselves in one final bout. Like most shikigami summoned from the 10 Shadows curse technique, the sorcerer awakens a divine dog companion and from there must conquer each individual animal out of the 10. Divine General Mahoraga is no different, and as such, the monster must be defeated in an exorcism ritual. A trial by combat, so to speak, in which the sorcerer and the shikigami battle to the death, and only when subdued will the creature be bound to the user for life. As mentioned, the user with the innate ability can pull other people into the battle ritual with them. However, the shikigami's exorcism is rendered null and void if the summoner themselves is not the one to defeat it, which is what allowed the Zenin clan heads of the past to summon Mahoraga in order to send both them and their opponents to hell. The reason for this guaranteed dance to the grave is the Divine General's overwhelming and terrifying strength. When extending both their fists forward and reciting the incantation, "With this treasure I summon," the shadows encompass a large portion of the ground in front of the caster, almost as if laying out a red carpet. Multiple divine dogs howl to the moon, harbingers for the Divine General's arrival. Emerging from the darkness is a towering, hulking mass of muscle, a humanoid figure with wings protruding from its eye sockets and a large tail extending back from its head. An 8-pointed wheel levitates above it, representing Furu's incantation of the 10 sacred treasures, complete cycle, and its harmony. A Japanese myth about 10 magical tools handed down from heavenly ancestors. We'll explain the mystics of the wheel and the 10 sacred treasures later, as they are not the only worries you have when up against the Divine General. Mahoraga's colossal size isn't just for show, capable of completely obliterating most average humans in the flick of its wrists. Its attack power was shown large enough to completely end Megami's life with one swing of its fist after being summoned, as well as launch a 15-finger Sukuna for miles through multiple buildings after reinforcing its arms with cursed energy. Although its bare hands are more than enough to take someone's life, attached to its right wrist is the Sword of Extermination, a blade composed of pure positive energy that can be used for slash attacks or, even worse, instantly wipe cursed spirits from the face of the earth. Mahoraga's speed is nothing to scoff at either, as not only is its reaction time quick enough to catch and deflect a dismantle slash from a 15-finger Sukuna, later on in the manga when battling Satoru Gojo, a character whose punches are stated to be the absolute strongest in the verse without question. This is because of Curse Technique Lapse Blue drawing an opponent in with just as much force as Gojo is striking his fist forward with. And not only is Mahoraga able to keep up with the Honored One in close quarters combat speed-wise, the Divine General takes multiple of these reality-breaking punches, as well as Black Flash amplified blows with little overall effect on its stamina. Mahoraga takes multiple Black Flashes from Gojo to defend the King of Curses, and the fact he lives to tell the tale is telling enough. Both Yuta and Hikari, when met with just basic punches from Satoru, were brought to projectile vomiting, proving Mahoraga's durability exceeds anyone besides Sukuna and Gojo themselves. Its endurance is also surprisingly high, as because of a secret ability we've yet to get into, Mahoraga can potentially fight forever. And despite being mute, Mahoraga is always always drawn with that iconic smirk, implying it has some sense of awareness when fighting its enemies, which is only further proven by it having a high sense for battle IQ. When battling Sukuna on its own with no direction, it gives the King of Curses a run for its money even at 75% of Sukuna's overall strength. The Vengeful Spirit even admits that if he had fought Mahoraga in the Cursed Wumark back at 3 fingers, Mahoraga would have indeed won without a doubt. While, of course, Mahoraga's supremely well-rounded stats are more than enough reason for that, the true quote-unquote way that both Mahoraga and Fushiguro Megami more specifically show Sukuna is laid before us in the Dharma Chakra Wheel, Furu's 10 sacred treasures, and the 8-pointed wheel that hovers above Mahoraga, which just might be its most important aspect. The wheel over Mahoraga has many names, an ancient sorcerer like Sukuna even comparing it to another historical figure, Yamata no Orochi, and its power is simple: the complete dissection and adaptation to any and all phenomena in the Divine General's way. With each and every clicking turn, the wheel is responding to any attack or ability Mahoraga is met with, in order to properly nullify its effects on Mahoraga and also provide him a way to overcome it. For example, when first striking Sukuna with the Sword of Extermination, the sword does little damage to the King of Curses because he resides in a human body, and the positive energy doesn't do well harming him. Reflexively, almost on cue, the Dharma Chakra Wheel spins, and the next attack Mahoraga hits Sukuna with is fully fueled with cursed energy, this time sending Sukuna flying away, leaving Mahoraga happy, knowing this new attack definitely did some damage. And the adaptation is not only limited to future planning, as any wheel spins will also cause the Divine General to regenerate any and all harm taken by any attack it adapts to, resulting in the previously mentioned theory Mahoraga will remain a never-ending threat unless it's dealt quickly with in succession by 2 separate curse techniques that have nothing to do with each other. The Dharma Chakra Wheel is also capable of adapting to multiple aspects of a technique, first seen when Mahoraga could adapt to Yorozu's domain expansion despite never seeing it, simply by preemptively adapting to all other aspects of her innate technique. This meant when it came time for Yorozu's innate technique to activate on Perfect Sphere, Mahoraga needed to only destroy it based on its previous calculations of her insect armor and metal sand particles. This is taken a step further when battling Satoru Gojo under Sukuna's control. Mahoraga adapts to and becomes eligible to destroy Unlimited Void, Gojo's domain, eventually becomes able to neutralize the Limitless's Infinity, Blue, and partially minimize the damage of Red, all the while duking it out with the Honored One alongside Sukuna and Chimera Beast Agito. A new aspect of Mahoraga's adaptation that has never been seen before is also unlocked by the King of Curses, who after declaring Mahoraga stop playing around, unleashes a newly created attack, all on its own, crafted from Sukuna's projectile cleave attack and the Divine General's own adaptation to the Limitless technique, which not only catches the Honored One off guard, it completely bypasses the Infinity and chops his arm off. Shortly after this, Mahoraga is rendered to dust by a haphazard, uncontrolled explosion of a loose hollow purple, created in a fashion that also shows Mahoraga's adaptation can become a weakness if strategized against correctly, shown when Satoru Gojo uses Blue, an ability that Mahoraga had already adapted to and was now immune, to specifically draw in an attack from Sukuna, knowing that it wouldn't affect Mahoraga, which does eventually allow the Divine General to inadvertently cause the hollow purple to occur in the first place, stopping Mahoraga's growth in its tracks and ultimately proving that while the devastating and impossible threat to conquer for almost any and all characters in the entire Jujutsu Kaisen universe, if you haven't seen the video me and Ronan did on it, check it out, the 10 sacred treasures can be tamed and defeated with the proper tactics and lucky genes that gift you multiple curse techniques. Mahoraga is responsible for the death of Yorozu and Sumiki, granting Sukuna the blueprint for strong cleave and being Megami's last 8 resorts before finally Sukuna shows us what the Divine General is truly capable of. Now that Mahoraga has been put to rest, another smoke demon in Jujutsu Kaisen reaches its end. You know, at least until he's summoned again in one giant all 10 shadows combined totality shikigami. Until then, thank you all so much for watching. I sincerely appreciate you making it all the way to the end. If you haven't already, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more more content like this, and check out the second channel where you can find more daily uploads. Check out an end screen video if you want to continue your binge, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.